Okay, so this first LiDAR exercise, the first part of the exercise is really kind of setting up parameters. The first thing she has you do actually is to look at, she should have had you look at the data first, so let's take a look. If I can move that table, it's not going to let me move it. Okay, let me see if I can open it here. What I have is a folder called Student. In the folder there's modules 1 through 5, and then there are two other folders, one Baltimore Results, and in Baltimore Results you're going to see a folder called Statistics, and you're going to overwrite this with a text document or an Excel document at some point in the lab. There's also a folder called Data, which is a geodatabase. It has the LAS files or the LiDAR files in that as well. So she talks you through setting up the map document properties. So you can name it, put a title in there, some kind of information, and I think it was Lidar Basics. For description, she wrote in kind of using Baltimore LiDAR, blah blah blah. The author, she put her and her co-author Bob, but we're going to put ourselves. Credits would be the data. She has the data site here. She set store relative pathways, and then the other thing she did that we haven't done before is she connected to a default geodatabase, and she connects to let me double check. I don't think she connects to the results. I think she connects to the let me double check. Interesting. I think she connects to the data folder. So I'm going to go ahead and set that as my default geodatabase and add that. Nothing else to do here. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to make sure that I save that inside that first folder and call it Basics. Okay, so I got that set up. Then I think we're kind of jumped here to step 3, and she has you set up your environments, which is really a good process to do in the midterm. This really would have helped you a lot. So you're going to set up your environments. The first thing is to set your current workspace, and so it's set to Baltimore data. My Scratch workspace, you want to set up that for just kind of there we go, add that. Now the output coordinates, there's a couple ways to do that, and she has you do it through, am I there? Did I miss it? No. She has you do it as same as display, but I can't do that yet because I have to set the data frame here. So remember, the data will take on the first data layer that I add unless I set the properties. So I'm going to go ahead and set the properties. It's a projected coordinate system. I'm going into, where am I going? I'm going into state NAD 83. State system or state plane? What's state plane? NAD 83, and she has US feet, and it's not cores, it's just plain state NAD 83. So let's see if there's any. There you go. Yep, that looks right. So I'm going to open that, and then I want to find Maryland, HIJKLMNO, Maryland. There we go. All right. So I've got my data frame set. I've saved my map, set my data properties, and we're going to go ahead. I think we have connected to the folder, but let's go ahead and add the art catalog window, and I'm going to go into desktop, look in my LiDAR folder, and if I look at my data, that's bold, so that's set as my default geodatabase. If I look at the results folder, you can see that's not bold. I could change that anytime by just right-clicking here and making that my default, but we don't want to do that. So we're going to leave it there. And then she says that you can examine the properties for your last files. So you want to look at those and look at the XY coordinate systems because you're going to need that information later. And then you're going to create a last data set, okay? And I'm not really sure why she has you create it in one place and copy and paste it into the other. So that's one of the things I might ask her. So I'm at the second part that says analysis, part 1, statistics, and last data set. So I'm going to add the Baltimore City outline, and I'm in my database here. Just drag and drop it over there and it'll go wherever. So there's my Baltimore City. This must be in the same geodata or projection because I didn't get a warning, so I'm going to take a look here. Sure enough, there it is. I'm good. Alright, let's see. When I did this originally, I chose the 2011. I didn't look far enough and I kept getting warnings and couldn't figure out why. Alright, so we're going to right-click the Baltimore data, and so I'm going to put this in the Baltimore data file, and I'm going to say new last data set. So there it is, and I think she tells you to call it Baltimore tiles. So there we go. So I've got the last data set created. And we're going to open that. I can right click and do properties, or I can double click and do properties. So here is my last data set, and I don't have any last files in it. So I'm going to add them. I'm going to go to last files and I'm going to add files, and I need to add those 4 tiles. Now in the instructions I think she only shows you where am I? God. In the instructions she only shows you 2 files. Actually, am I in the right place? No, I'm not. There we go. Student modules, and is it in the data? There we go. And can I do all 4 of them? Let's see. Yeah, cool. Alright, so I've got those in there. Now she says, so I've added those files, and the surface constraints is kind of like a mask, or I don't know if it physically clips, but I only see the data that's in that area. So for the surface constraints, I want to add my wrong. I want to add this, and I think she tells me to do the city. Yeah. Okay. So I've got that. Okay. Is there anything else I need to do? I'm on 5. Number 6 is click the Z coordinate system. I'm not doing anything with that one. That's interesting. So Z coordinate system, and I want to go into vertical coordinates and North America, and it says to choose NAVD 1988. The linear units are meters, but apparently I can change that somehow. Okay, let's double click, right click and modify. Copy and modify? Alright, so I want to change this to feet. So apparently I can make that conversion right here and I don't have to do it later. So I'm going to say US foot is my understanding here. Okay. So there we go. And it shows up here that those are my conversions. So, okay, so it says I'm completed there. I can click OK. And now I'm supposed to copy this. So I'm going to right click and copy and put it in the defaults folder, or the results folder. Okay. So now alright, so I'm supposed to open this again apparently. And it says to open the last files, at the top. And then it looks for the point spacings for all those, and so you're going to average those, blah blah blah. And then it says calculate statistics. Do I see that anywhere? Do you guys see that anywhere? Click calculate to produce statistics. Okay. So when I got here, I did not see a button anywhere to calculate, and it automatically calculated the statistics, or at least they look like the example. So I do not know if, because I have the last data set toolbar up, if they calculate it automatically. That's another thing. I'll have to kind of research that. But this looks like the tutorial so far. So looks to me like the statistics were displayed already. I can see my class codes down here. There's number 2 is the ground level, number 12 is an overlap layer, number 1 is the unassigned, which means the top highest level. Okay, so elevation range, that would be your Z. So there's the minimum. Here's another thing. I don't know why there's a minus 200. That seems very weird to me. So that's something else. I'd have to kind of do some research on what that's about. Isn't this helpful? Okay, so search for, okay, now I'm at number 11. Before you close the last part, to go to the General tab. Alright, General tab, and they want me to, store the relative path names for that. That's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to say okay. Alright, so now I'm going to go find the statistics tool. And for some weird reason, my toolbox is down here. And I know we're working in 3D Analyst. And, oh wait, did I turn on? I think I did, but let me double check. Yep, I'm good. Alright, so I don't know where the last data sets are. You guys might know that. So what I think I found it the other day, but data management, last data set, cool, look at that. Nope, that's not it. I'm looking for statistics. Okay, so at this point, conversion, nope. Alright, I give up here, and so I'm just going to go search if it would, oh there it is. I'm going to search for statistics. Let's see if I get anything there. Weird. Okay. Let's try that. Data management. Maybe. Okay, so it's in the data management tool, and it's probably in the data management tool of the 3D Analyst. Well, I do not see it. Okay, so I'm just going to do it from here. I think my computer is as tired as I am. Okay, here we go. Double click that guy. There it is. Okay, so there's the last dataset statistics tool. So I have to tell the setup. Are you just going to be really not working today? Okay, that was fun. I had to reboot. Okay, so I didn't save that, so I'm going to save this now. Okay, so it says unable to save. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, I moved this silly thing. Hold on. Save as. Don't you? I love these live demos. Okay. Save. Okay. So the input last data set is the one I created, and I want to make sure that I take the one from the results apparently. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to add that, and then increase the point limit. I'm going to see. Did I lose this already? Okay. Oh, yeah, I scrolled down while I was waiting. Okay, so here we go. Skip existing. So set the file to the output. Okay, so this is where do I want that file to go? Now do I have to open it? And I think I have to name it. Statistics2. Okay, so I've got that. Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. Check error. What did I do? The value is not a text file. Hold on. Yeah, it is. Oh, that's pretty curious. Okay, if anybody else got that, email me and let me know. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and see what happens. All right. That's so weird. No, the value is not a text file. Okay, hold on, pausing again. Okay, so this is what I don't understand. There's something else she didn't explain. She's got a dummy text file set up for you. So you're going to click that and then rename it to here. Okay? I forgot. And then it's going to work, and we're going to say OK, and it's going to create your text file. Now, if you haven't had Excel, here's, and what it created for me was my wireframe. And if I zoom in on my wireframe, I'm going to see my points. Okay, and we'll get to that in a minute. But here's the piece. I'm going to open up my Excel. Okay, and I can open a text file in Excel. I just have to do some settings. So I'm going to go File, Open, and now I'm going to go into that file I just created, which I have no idea where. There we go. Voila. Results. Is that where I put that? So I want to get the Baltimore Statistics text file 2 and say Open. Let's do that and see what happens. Okay, well that didn't work. Let's try something else. Nope, don't save that. I know what I did. Open. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say all files. That was my problem. You have to click all files. Now I can see the text document. Before I was seeing, I don't know what I was seeing. Some XML document that wouldn't open. Okay, so all files, choose open, and then I have to tell it how it's set up. So the data is delimited. So I'm going to choose next, and it is, did they say comma delimited? Okay, it's comma delimited, so I'm going to take out tax. And now that begins to look like a regular table, right? I don't need to do anything else. I'm going to go finish. And there you go. So now in my report, I can copy these files. I can make those bold if I wanted to. I could set these to have different colors so that they're easy to read, whatever. And then if I were to do this, right click and copy that, I can now sometimes somewhat paste that in a Word document. I have to do some cleaning up on that file, so I'd probably have to change that a little bit. Don't save that. And I would actually format those cells, and I would probably align that top row text to up. And then if I double click this right between those, it makes that file take in no more space than it needs. Well, that's good. So I needed more there apparently. Alright, I can move this down. Alright, let's see if that fits on the paper a little better. What is that guy? I don't like that guy. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to copy those cells. And then I'm going to paste those back in a Word document. Wish I hadn't shut that guy. Something you want to do is probably add a couple carriage returns. Okay, so now I've got a table in my document that I could add the rest of my data to that. So that is the end of the deliverables for part 1. And this is so weird. When you save this stuff, you get this. Do you want to save it? You save it once and you're good. Okay. All right, so that's deliverables for part 1. At part 2, let's go close that guy. You're going to really turn on an aerial photo. You're going to zoom in to these different cells. And she says to zoom into the northwest quarter. So let's go back here. Okay, so northwest would be there. Am I right? Okay, so up here should be the University of Baltimore, as they say. Okay, so there we are. Well, that looks like it could be a university. Okay. So there we are. And you're going to go to the properties here. And one of the things they said is that you want to see a few more dots. So it's kind of limiting what you're seeing, just because it would be overwhelming. And it says use scale for control is not, let's see, oh, we do want to use that. Okay. Increase the point density to fine. Okay. And always display the last as an option. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to say okay on that. I'm going to zoom into that some more. Hey, nice. Alright, I did something wrong there. I'm going to see what, oh, okay, display. Was I supposed to do 5? Huh. Well, that was weird. Let's try that. There they are. I had some weirdo number there. Okay, so that was that setting. What percent of data is showing up in the table of contents? Let's take a look at that. Ooh, I can't see it because it's oh, I'm supposed to have, I bet I was supposed to set something there. Oh, here it is. It's showing 4% of the data there. Was that? Sorry about that. Okay. So then she wants you to create a map at this point showing the data frames. I would show add your base map, zoom out to the extent of this. Yeah, whatever. Okay. And then make a base map with the imagery and what that's going to do is show the reader the extent of your project. So when you make your map, then you're going to be able to show that this is the extent of the LiDAR data that you're working with. And then in this third part, you're going to add the last toolbar, or the last data set toolbar, and you've got it's seeing the Baltimore tiles, which is the last data set that you created. You can, let's zoom in on one of these again. So you're going to look at what she calls the point symbol renderers. Okay, so let's look. Would you just stop? There we go. So you can choose to look at the data by class. So remember, we had just a couple classes of data. We had the ground data are the brown points, the height top of the surface is the tan, the overlap is that color. So you've got that option. You've got the elevation. So this shows different elevation values. I think this is really odd. Like minus. That is a weird thing. Look at this. Minus 33. I don't know. Something's very funny about this data. Anyway, that's what we're working with. So she's going to ask you to make a couple images and evaluate the elevation, and then you're going to look at filters, and you can look at it by this rendering. So this is really like running Spatial Analyst on your different. I'm going to zoom in because this takes so long to draw. We're just going to zoom in right here. There we go. So the filter creates kind of a 3D look using elevation categories, and you can choose oh, come on, bud. Wrong. So those are all of them. I could look at just the first return. I can look at the ground return, and what's amazing is did you see those funny triangles? This is erasing for the buildings because the algorithm knows that this was not, that if you look at the ground surface here, that this also should be ground surface. So it actually just kind of removes the building, and sometimes you can get a really nice building footprint from that. So she asked you to go through that. So your third map is a deliverable showing point size by class, so that would be that. Showing what else is it? Elevation and the ground filter. So you're going to show those different things. And then the last part of this basics data set is to be able to use the profiler. So I'm going to click here. Where is it? And I don't know where the profile view button is. Let me take a look here. Scrolling back up to the toolbar. Oh, well, that's pretty weird. Mine is not showing up, so I'm going to grab the tool and move it off this. There it is. What a goofy thing. Okay, so now I can click the profiler. So I can do this. But I think what I'm profiling now is the ground, which I think is really boring. So what I'm going to go back and do is put it back on elevation, and you're going to play around with that profile tool a little bit. Oh, I didn't get enough of a profile, so I'm going to zoom in some more here. Let that draw, or not. And then I just had to make my profile a little wider, but using the profile tool, you can make a profile, and then using the 3D tool, you can make your 3D elevation. Well, that's pretty cool. Looking at that, or doing it from the elevation. Okay, that was really speedy and I hope that helps.